India's Super 8 journey started in the worst way possible as they fell flat on their first hurdle, crashing down against the Proteas during their chase of 187. South Africa went 20 for 3 with Bumrah and Arshdeep dismantling the South African top order. In came David Miller and Dewald Brevis, and they took the attack back to the Indians. Hitting Varun Chakravarti for 2 sixes and a boundary in the same over, they neutralized India's potent spin bowling weapon. Then in the very next over, they took on Hardik Pandya, who was bowling quite a good over until then, having given away just 3 runs. He bowled a no ball and the free hit was hit for a 6 by David Miller, and that changed the entire complexion of the game. In the very next over of Shivam Dube, Miller and Brevis took 15 runs, followed by 12 more of Varun's over, which was the 12th over, and the score stood at 111 for 3, recovering from 20 for 3. And thus the tide of the match had completely changed and the momentum was completely with the South Africans. When Shivam Dube removed Dewald Brevis in the 13th over, the Proteas innings were rolling at a run rate of 9.8. Even in that over, Dube had conceded 17 runs. But from the over 15th to the 19th, India was successful in wrestling back some control, picking up 3 more wickets before Tristan Stubbs took the attack back on the Indians. He hit Hardik Pandya for 2 sixes of his last 2 balls, taking the score to a formidable 187 for 7. I would say they landed with about 20 more runs than what they should have got when they were 20 for 3. Thus, India now had a steep chase in front of them. In response, India had a horrid start. Ishan Kishan falling in the very first over for a duck, removed by the South African captain Aiden Markram himself, exposing the problems that the Indian batting lineup has against off-spinners. Their performance against offies has been dismal of late, and it has continued across formats. Remember how Simon Harmer tormented the Indian batsmen during the Test series? Well, the T20 format is no different. Tilak Verma was removed of the very first ball of the second over, bowled by Marco Jansen, and his dismal form in the T20 World Cup continues. His form has gone unnoticed because Abhishek Sharma went on to score a flurry of ducks, but his form has also been quite poor. Tilak was dismissed of Marco Jansen's first ball. He tried to play a foolish shot and perished. Abhishek tried to bring himself back into form, but he really didn't get into the groove of things. He struggled for his entire innings, his very short stay of 15 of 12, till he was also removed by Marco Jansen. Then it was captain Surya Kumar Yadav and Washington Sundar who tried to get a partnership going, but they also fell to Corbin Bosch, who along with Lungi and Gidi bowled very well in that pitch where it was stopping a bit. The ball wasn't coming to the bat that easily. It was a bit too paced. So it wasn't really apt to play your shots through the line, and so neither Sky nor Washington really got into any sort of rhythm and perished with the captain Surya Kumar Yadav and Washington Sundar gone. India struggling with 5 wickets down. Their chase was virtually ended. There were not really any realistic chances of India winning the game from that point on, though Hardik was still there, Rinku was still there, and Dubey was still there. The run rate was quite out of reach. It would require almost an innings of a lifetime for India to salvage something out of that match, and ultimately it didn't happen. Neither Hardik could master anything out of it, and Rinku fell for a duck. Only Dubey was the only saving grace. He did play some shots, but by that time the match was truly done with. There weren't any life left in it. It was basically a corpse, and we were just waiting for the final ball to be bowled so that we can be done with it. Now, looking at how the game progressed, I would have to say that the South Africans were much better prepared than the Indians. See, when you are the best team in the world, the higher ranked team in the world, the highest ranked team in the world, naturally the opposition is gonna have some plans for you. So the South Africans had plans for every Indian batter. They knew how to bowl to Abhishek Sharma. They knew what to do to get rid of Ishan Kishan. They knew what were the weaknesses of Surya Kumar Yadav and Tilak Verma, and they exploited it. And needless to say, we were a bit complacent as well. The decision to play Washington Sundar over Akshar Patel doesn't make any sense in hindsight, but I wouldn't have made that call. The reason for Washington playing over Akshar was that South Africa has 3 left-handed batters, but all 3 play up top and they are not really scattered throughout their batting lineup. So it didn't really make much sense to have a bona fide left-arm spin bowling all-rounder, the vice-captain of the team, to be replaced by Washington Sundar, who hasn't really had much game time of late in this particular format. So that definitely backfired, and if you look at the press conference, the Indian assistant coach Rantan Daskate did accept that the call of playing Washington in place of Akshar was a wrong one, and the team suffered for it. Now, losing by 76 runs, it does give the net run rate a real jolt. If it ever comes down to that, we are going to have a problem with the net run rate. 76 runs is a hefty margin. The scenario to qualifying for the semi-finals has also become a bit problematic. We have to play the tricky Zimbabwe side first, and if we beat them, then we go up against the marauding West Indies in Kolkata in the coming Sunday. And if we win both matches, then probably we are gonna go through. But there are still some ifs and buts regarding it, because if South Africa loses to the West Indies and then they go on to beat Zimbabwe, then chances are that both West Indies and South Africa will have 4 points, as will India if they beat both Zimbabwe and West Indies. But both the Proteas and the Windies might have a better net run rate than the Indians, and hence India will not go through to the semi-finals. And this will be the first time that a tournament has happened in India, has been hosted by India, well, co-hosted by India, because Sri Lanka are the co-host, and India will not even play the semi-finals. So that will be a rude shock, and if that does happen, I think it's curtains for Gautam Gambhir as a coach for the Indian national team. Sorry to say that, but his performance as a coach has been absolutely horrendous in test matches and not so impressive in one days as well. The only saving grace has been the T20 format, and the win in the Asia Cup did buy him some time, and many media outlets and experts were saying that it would all depend on whether the team manages to win the T20 World Cup. So if they fail to win the T20 World Cup, if they fail even to make it to the semi-finals, that would be a humongous disappointment. That will be a huge failure, and Gautam Gambhir probably would have to go as the coach of the Indian national team. Now, whether the team makes it to the semi-finals or not, we will have to wait and watch to find out.